Hey guys, it's Steven here, and this is the day before the big one. Manchester City are set to play a quarter-final against Lyon in the Champions League, and I'm absolutely pumped. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm a little bit tense, but why not be excited, genuinely? Why not be confident? Why not look at this game and think, this is what it's all about? I know we can't be there, and I know it's going to be behind closed doors, and I know it won't be the same, but this is still Manchester City Football Club. This is the club that we all love, and this is a reason to be proud, a reason to be optimistic. I'm sorry, but we have to go into this game tomorrow feeling very, very confident. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about this preview. Before I do that, though, I want to say thank you to these people. These guys to my side are heroes. Patreon.com/Esteemed Company. They've helped support the channel. A big shout out to Carl Matsala and S. You've only put your name down as S. I think it's Sandeep. But thank you very much, mate, for supporting the channel. I appreciate both you guys. You're absolute heroes. And everyone else who's got involved. Patreon.com/Esteemed Company. If you want to get involved and help support the channel a little bit more, there's going to be bonus videos, there's a Slack group and all that kind of stuff, and there's going to be loads of other random little goodies for Patreon members. But anyway, let's get on to this game. It's going to be absolutely huge, genuinely huge. I'm so excited about this. There's been loads of coming out, obviously, in the press conference, so we'll talk about that. We'll try and predict the team. We'll talk about the team lineup, which I've just said the same thing. We'll talk about the team news is what I mean. We'll talk about the opposition, and generally just try and predict the game. It's a big one. It's absolutely a big one. We can't quite underestimate how big this game is for Manchester City. If we do this, if we get through this game, we're in the semi-finals for only the second time in our career, and last time in our career, in my career, in our club's history of the Champions League. And last time we did that, of course, we got against Real Madrid, and we bottled that. But now we've beaten Real Madrid, and now we're against Lyon in the quarters to get, hopefully, through to the next round. And it's doable, you know. A little bit of facts here for you. This will be the third UEFA Champions League meeting between City and Lyon. Of course, we've only managed to draw and lose against them. This was back in 2018, basically. And it wasn't a very impressive performance, if we're being honest. They were a very good team, and they probably deserved to get those points against us, well, if we're being honest. This is actually the fourth time in the last 5 seasons that we've reached the quarterfinals, which you wouldn't really believe when you think about it. And of course, though, the only time we had progressed was actually beating another French side, PSG, back in 2015-16. I was away at that game in PSG, and it was fantastic. This is Lyon's first appearance as well in the quarterfinals of the Champions League since 2009 and 2010 season. They've only also progressed once from a Champions League quarterfinal, and that was beating Bordeaux in that same game back in the 09-10 season. Hopefully we get through to the semi-finals yet again. Pep's also been very busy in the press conference, talking an awful lot about this competition. He said, and I quote, "Anything can happen. It's a different competition. It's a final at every stage. We are ready to do our best performance to go through. The pressure is always there. We try to do our best like the other teams. We saw how tight it was in the last 2 games. Tomorrow will be no exception. It's a final, so it's one game." It's a quarter-final, I guess is the point he's making there. He said, "We'll try to avoid mistakes so they can't punish us." He talked about Manchester City changing as well and evolving as a club. He said every year it's growing, not just results, but every year the organisation is growing. The club is working day by day to get results. Another part is working to be sustainable and solid in the future. He talked about the knockout as well, which obviously will have an impact on this game. He said, in terms of the knockout, it's quite different. When you play the first leg, you have one eye on the second leg. When we play FA Cup or Carabao, we are used to it. There are no second chances. You're either in or out. The approach is very different, and it is very different. It means largely Guardiola hasn't got time to overthink about it. He's just got to put his best team out there, the team that he thinks will beat Lyon, and that'll be it, basically. I think I could prefer that, to be honest. I think largely in the domestic competitions, we've been pretty good. I know we went out of the FA Cup, but our record in domestic competitions has been pretty exemplary, and hopefully that'll move over into the Champions League knockout as well. In terms of the team news, there's not really much going on. We know Benjamin Mendy is now back after his suspension against Real Madrid. Whether he'll play, we don't know, because Cancelo was, of course, in fine form. But he's back and available in the squad, which is, of course, a boost, because having quality players is useful. Unfortunately, it isn't good news on Sergio Aguero. Guardiola had this to say on Aguero. He's still in Barcelona. He should come here, do a test. He should come here, do a test. I don't know what he means by that. But he said he's still in Barcelona making a full recovery. It's looking increasingly likely, in my opinion, that we won't see Aguero in this competition, even if we get to the final. I might be wrong there, but it's a meniscus injury, which is kind of worrying, and it kind of hints what I've been saying recently, how the idea of him being fit all next season, being back to his old self, isn't a guarantee, which I genuinely think is why we're looking at a potential striker. In terms of the lineup, it's Guardiola, and he's got a pretty strong squad to choose from. I kind of want to be obvious. I also think maybe he's going to try something different. But I don't see any reason really to not kind of press on the team that's just beat Real Madrid. I've got a reading it could look a little bit familiar. Now, we all know Ederson is going to start in goal. That is a given. Kyle Walker is definitely going to start. Guardiola was talking a little bit about Walker apparently. Or he's not talking. Someone quoted Guardiola saying that he sees a little bit of Philip Lahm in his game in terms of how he strategically understands what he has to do on the pitch. And Walker has been immense recently. Absolutely immense. He was world class against Real Madrid. So I have no doubt he's starting. Likewise, Ferdinand and Laporte were excellent against Real Madrid. So they're clearly going to start. The big choice is, of course, at left back. I got a feeling at left back we will see the continuation of Joao Cancelo at left back. I think he's earned a chance. Mendy is, of course, a very good player. He could be useful. Another Mendy up against Lyon. Obviously, Ferdinand Mendy left them pretty recently. He could be useful against the former French team. But I still think in this one, he'll trust what's worked recently. And I think for that, we have to go with Joao Cancelo. That would make an awful lot of sense for me. This is where it gets interesting. I don't see any reason why he's going to change this midfield anchor. I think this will work. You got to consider that midfield. Lyon's midfield has an awful lot of energy there, so I think he'll go for a team that he thinks can match that and beat that energy. I think he'll go for not match it, or at least control that energy. I think he'll go for Rodri and Gundogan sitting a little bit deeper, and then ahead of those two is obviously going to be Mr. Kevin De Bruyne, our talisman, our true leader these days. It'll be De Bruyne, which means no David Silva, unfortunately for me. I think David Silva will be on the bench. I think we'll see the same front three. I think we'll see Sterling and Foden and Gabriel Jesus, because I think those three provided all that energy. And given the fact that the players have had a bit of a rest for a week now, I don't see any reason why these three, shouldn't be leading the line. That energy is absolutely crucial. I know Foden wasn't at his bombastic best against Real Madrid, but his energy, he set an example basically, and I think Guardiola would have appreciated that. And he's done more than enough, in my opinion, to earn a start in this game. Now, initially, as you've seen, I put Foden on the right with Sterling on the left and Gabriel Jesus through the middle, because I think that's what we'll see actually. I think we will see lots of rotation, but I think initially we actually will see Gabriel Jesus as a striker with Sterling on the left, offering a little bit of width and cutting in as Cancelo gets ahead, with Foden cutting in with Walker bobbing up as well. I think we'll see that, but we'll see variations. We could see this variation, which, I mean, this is what I think Guardiola would do, by the way, but this is what I would personally do if we had the choice. I would like to see City go for it. The defence at the back four is exactly the same, but then I would have Rodri sitting with Bernardo alongside Kevin De Bruyne, and then I would have the same front three basically. But what we also could see, the reason I want Bernardo, by the way, is I want that energy in midfield. I want to go full on press, full on aggression. If you've got Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo closing down in midfield, and then you've got Foden and Sterling and Jesus, that is youth, that is pace, that is energy, that is technique. And to be honest, for me, that's what I want. David Silva, it could be quality. Maybe a calm head amongst the storm could be useful. But I want to go for the youth in this, the youthful energy, basically. And I think, obviously, De Bruyne isn't the youngest, but he still has that ability to press. And that's what I prefer, personally. And it could also be that we see this on screen now, where we see them switching around a little bit. Sterling could go over to the right, maybe. We could have Gabriel Jesus on the left, with Bernardo being a false nine and Foden slotting alongside Kevin De Bruyne, and they could all move kind of around. I'd be happy with that. I think that could work, but I think we're going to have to wait and see what Guardiola does on the day. In terms of the opposition, this is a good side, you know. Did you watch the video I did with Jonathan Johnson, a French football expert? If you didn't, go and watch it. It'll be on screen right now, popping up. Open a new tab and get ready to watch that after this. But Jonathan rightfully pointed out that they got some very good players. And Guardiola said the other day in the press conference, not the other day, just today basically. Wow, it's got very bright all of a sudden. Sorry about that. This Manchester sun is reflecting off a window over there. Just watch my overexposed face. Let me just sort that out 1 second. It's a bit too bright there. Guardiola did say, oh wow, I can't quite control that, unfortunately. Guardiola did say, we saw the other games against Juventus, some other games in the French league. They are organised, aggressive and so fast. People up front, wing backs, the quality in the team is something else. This is a quarter-final. It won't be easy. And he's definitely right there. Obviously, they've not had a good season. They haven't had a good season over in the French league. They came 7th this season. They were unlucky to get beat. I guess they weren't unlucky. PSG beat them in the domestic cup final. But they did get past Juventus. Now, one thing I will say, and this is not a controversial thing, it's probably true if anyone's followed Serie A, that Juventus, even though they won the league, weren't at their best this season. So Juventus beating them obviously is an impressive accomplishment, but they weren't impressive in beating them, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to play it down, but this wasn't like like Atalanta against PSG, where it was a real battling performance and it was loads of great football and all that kind of stuff. Lyon were plucky, they were good and they deserved it, but it wasn't like they played insane football that we have to worry about, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to jinx us here, I'm just trying to set the level that even though they beat Juventus, we are still better than them. And I don't mean that in a patronising way, I mean that in an honest assessment kind of way. They have good players, of course. Jason Denayer, ironically, Jason Denayer has been linked with Napoli as a potential replacement if they don't get Gabriel, if we sign Koulibaly, which is interesting. Denayer is a good footballer, a very good footballer, and a little bit of a talisman and a leader for them. They've got a good keeper, they've got Husamawa, who Manchester City are still linked to. He's a quality midfielder. They've got players who can cause us trouble. Now, Memphis can be a little bit lazy and he won't work quite as hard as some of the players, but he does have a bit of magic in his boots. And Dembele, if he gets running, his touch can be a little bit heavy, but he does have pace and he does have skill, and he's the kind of person we've got to be careful. We saw, obviously, Real Madrid, was it Rodrigo? I think Rodrigo beat Joao Cancelo with a little bit of pace, which led to the goal. And there's no reason someone like Depay or Bailey can't do the same thing. So we have to be focused. This is a good, aggressive team. But this is also isn't the team that we played 2 years ago. That's also a fair thing to say. They've lost Fekir, they've lost Mendy, they've lost Bailey since then. They've got some good players, so don't get me wrong. But this is a different team to that team, and we have to be wary of them nonetheless. Anyway, in terms of the prediction, why not feel confident? Come on. Why not feel confident? This is Manchester City. Our players are fit and raring to go. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but we are favourites for the Champions League for a reason on paper. We're a better team than them, and I mean that with all due respect as well. Lyon are a very good team, and they are where they are on merit. But Manchester City really should be beating Lyon. They really should be beating Lyon. If we're not, there are questions to be asked of Guardiola, and that's a fair comment. I'm not saying it would diminish him as in anything other than an exceptional manager, but this is a game that we really shouldn't be beating. I know it's a one-off game. So bad things and mad things can happen and all that kind of stuff, and a referee decision can go against it. But I'm feeling confident. I feel like the key to this game is getting an early goal. If you get an early goal and it gets a little bit later on, it's a one-off game. There's no second leg to think about, no away goals to think about. Teams will get a little bit panicky if they're behind towards the end, and they'll start pushing forward. And if you've got a team that's very competent on the counter-attack and good at pressing and can pass it around pressing like Manchester City can, you've got Sterling bombing forward, Foden, Gabriel Jesus, Kevin De Bruyne. That could be crucial. It could be that we get an early goal, and then when they press forward, we could pull them apart. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could happen, and we've got to be confident. I'm going to say Manchester City will win. I'm going to go for 3-1. And I think it'll be very close. I think it'll be 1-0. 2-0, then 2-1, but they'll push forward and we'll get the third, and it'll be tense, it'll be horrible, and it'll be good. But we've got to be confident, guys. Thank you to all these people here. These are my patrons who help keep this channel going. They're absolute heroes. Patreon.com/Esteemed Company. Go and watch the preview that I did with a friend football expert. It's very, very good. You'll learn everything you need to know about Lyon. And also, come and join me tomorrow night for a watch-along of the game. It'll be fun. I'm going live at 7:30. And come and join me on Twitch playing Fall Guys later on tonight. Twitch.tv/Esteemed Company with me and Nicola. It was great fun last night. Even though there's a few technical difficulties, we got over it. It's good fun. Come and join me. Twitch.tv/Esteemed Company about 8 o'clock tonight, I reckon, 8:30 or something like that. Give this video a like. Subscribe if you're new to the channel for loads of Manchester City content. Love you all loads. Come on, City. Come on. We're going to do it. Maybe. Hopefully. We will. In a bit.